Good morning, distinguished guests, dignitaries, and esteemed participants. I am Ravi Kumar, Under Secretary. On behalf of the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, I am privileged and honored to welcome you all to the 18th Urban Mobility India Conference-cum-Exhibition 2025. This technical session is on smart bus operation for city-specific needs through digitalization. And the session is being graciously chaired by Dr. Surendra Kumar Bagre, Director General, National Center for Good Governance, who holds a degree in Electrical Engineering from BZTI Mumbai, a degree in the Industrial Engineering from IIM Mumbai, and a PhD in Applied Economics and Management from the Carnegie Mellon University, USA. He has spent more than 32 years in the Indian Administrative Service. In his last stint in BEST, he has led initiatives for bringing in new models of the bus operations and technology inductions that has resulted in complete transformation of bus operations in Mumbai. He also negotiated financing of development projects with government of Japan for projects in the infrastructure, water supply and power sectors, which includes Western Dedicated Freight Corridor project. Guiding the discussion as the moderator is Ms. Priya Singh, co-founder and director, Chalo Mobility Private Limited. To begin the session, I am honored to request the moderator, Ms. Priya, to graciously guide the proceeding of the session. Madam, please.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, everyone. Glad to be here with the esteemed panel. I want to welcome my dignitaries and all the officers and guests attending this session. Thank you. It's our privilege to have you all of you here. As India is standing at a defining moment where bus mobility is becoming in today, because 3-4 years ago when I used to come at UMI, there was very less discussion about buses. And today we have dedicated session for 90 minutes about buses. This is such a lovely and endearing change, and I'm so glad to be here to be speaking about it. I will not take much time. You know all the dignitaries here and people. There are few things which we feel that buses have been struggling with, despite having PME Bus Seva launched or adding more buses for metro. There's still problem with buses, and all of you can resonate with my feeling that we didn't come here by taking bus. I am not sure how many of you have taken bus to reach here.
Not many.
Not many. I didn't, for sure. And there are problems that we don't know where our bus is, and when we get inside the bus, the entire experience is still broken. So we struggle still. India needs 10x buses. When the entire generation is dependent on buses, why I say that India's per capita income is not more than $250, and we still don't have beautiful bus experience journey available in India. So that's why we are here to discuss the smart bus operations which can digitize buses and make buses viable, accessible, especially profitable for STUs, because people sitting here like Kroot and Pramod sir and Patwardhan sir, Mehra sir, they all have worked tirelessly hard to make buses extremely desirable to take every day. And we have our experts. So I'm going to be handing over the mic to our chairman, sir. Bagre sir doesn't need any introduction. Personally, I'm very intimidated by him. So whatever I learn, whatever I just put the paper because I don't remember anything. He's coming in my dreams since 3 days. And he's been quite nice to me in my dreams. No, seriously. And he was very nice to me in my dreams, so I was expecting that sir is going to be very nice to me, because all 3 years in UMI, he's been telling me, you are not doing this, you are not doing this. And I am very, very afraid of him. But you know, he's the pioneer. On a serious note, he's the pioneer of bus industry, right from Best to Mahua to today. If he's sitting in 5 panels, I have been stalking his entire UMI panel discussions, that 5 places he's chairing the session. So he's the right person to chair this session. I'm extremely honored to have him here. Sir, I want to hand over the mic to you to speak about how we digitize buses more for smart bus solutions. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Priya, and earlier my colleague from Mahua who introduced me very graciously. I think it's a pleasure to be here, connecting with many people once in a year. One would like to do more, but at least once in a year. And UMI has become such a landmark event, and I think it's growing every year, which is good for the industry. This panel is also a very balanced panel in the sense we have bus operators, companies which run the buses on behalf of the state governments. We have technology providers, and there are so many users of the technology. So I think it's, we have Boki, which is, I always try to attend Boki's program, wherever program is there. And one should go and visit the kind of number they have. Like thousands. It's not, there was a program in Hyderabad, which I remember. So many people, I don't know how many thousand. And then they had a very nice program in Bharat Mandap in just recent past. So I was there, and you can see so many people. And I think that participation itself is indicator of how much interested they are in participating in the, this industry, as well as making it better. So I think I will stick to the topic, which is, smart bus operation for city-specific needs via digitalization. I think the idea is each city has a different needs. And as we have seen, like while formulating PME Bus Seva or any other scheme, city-specific needs in terms of the number of buses, size of buses, their route length, their frequency, so they differ. I think the issue is what digital technologies can bring to the table. At the same time, one need not again belabor the point that what Priya was saying, that we need 10x number of buses and much more than that. And I was just mentioning before we started this session, if bus doesn't come on time, or if you are not located the bus, then whom you blame? You blame traffic. Oh, because of traffic, the bus is not coming. But we must understand how this situation arose. This situation arose because we did not provide adequate number of public transport buses or whatever other system when it was beginning. So if I would have provided adequate number of buses in Delhi or Mumbai or any other city, say 20 years back, people would not have switched to private mode. And when you have private and public together, then they are vying for the limited road space. You can't keep on, you can't keep on building inner ring road, outer ring road, then peripheral ring road. Whatever ring road you build, the traffic will come on spilling inside the city. So I think what we need is that intervention at the right time. And still we have time. It's not that there is, but we need a lot of rethink. And I am of the belief that digital technologies can help a lot. One, I think if you look at the entire chain of bus operations, I think many STUs are there. Their main problem is that the cost of bus operation is very high. And fare is not there to compensate for the entire cost of operation. And as you know, in public transport, there's 2F principles, fare and frequency. If you have very low fare, but you don't have frequency, what people will do? I offer free bus service, and I say there is bus service after 1 hour. What I will do with that? No. So I think this cardinal principle of 2F, fare and frequency, then I had added to affordability too also. But at least I think people can pay for it if it is guaranteed frequency. So I think now the fundamental problem is that why the investment is not happening and why there is not increase enough number of buses. And every year we talk that we need 10x in 25, maybe in 26 you will talk about 12x. One of the reason is that our operation costs are, they may be reasonable, but we are not able to pay for that through fare or whatever revenue mechanism we have. So I think one of the intervention which digital technology can make is to reduce the cost of bus operation. And I think that point, I do not want to speak about that point much, but I would request our panelists to give us their ideas of how they can reduce the cost of bus operation, at the same time using this technology to make buses traceable, predictable. Whatever may be the frequency, even if you say it comes after 20 minutes, okay. But please make the bus available after 20 minutes. Now, there are companies which are tendering out the contract. So please understand, digitalization alone is not enough. You also need changes in the contracting. Now, BOK is there, both the operators. There are forms of contract which can provide service at a specific point, at a specific frequency. So I think we also need to graduate to a different model of contract. And I think when we think about digitalization, it has to address all aspects. Then, digitalization also can play a very important role in contract management and contract monitoring, which I think we had tried to do something in Mahua. I don't know where that project has gone, but that is very important. Now, for STUs to be able to monitor their contract performance and automate it. Now, we discuss about AI and big data and all that, but big data and AI will work only when there is a data. So if there is no data, on what you are going to run big data? So I think this is also very fundamental that all aspects of bus operations are digitized, not only one aspect. You just can't say, I will show my GPS bus tracking. But you have to have fare collection system connected, you have to have contract management connected. And we don't have a person from DIMS, I think, but DIMS has, Delhi, the one who operates private buses, contract buses in Delhi. Rakesh, I saw, and their group, I think they have a system of managing contract through IT system. So I think it's a whole package, ecosystem if you create. I think that's where there will be satisfaction for the citizens, there will be satisfaction for bus operators, and then there will be satisfaction for the bus owners or the city government. So I think these all three can work together, and digitalization can be at the core of all this to facilitate the operation. So I think it's very crucial, and now I will stop here. We'll let speakers, we have around 76 minutes. At least I think we should leave 20 minutes for a question answer. One-way discussion is not good. So I think leave 20 minutes, Priya, and then give equal time to all so that they can give their ideas, and then we can discuss for 20 minutes. Thank you.
Hello. Hello. Okay. Thank you, sir. Well said. I will not be repeating what sir said, but all the points are taken care of, and many people sitting here are doing it. I'll go to Pramod Shankar, sir. He's CMD for KSRTC. Recently implemented the total digitalization in state of Kerala. And within 1.5 months, sir, 4 lakhs download, and KSRTC has already touched highest collection and ridership in last 1.5 months. So, sir, would like to hear from your story that how digitalization you have imagined and what are the plans now?
Thank you, madam. First of all, again, thanking you to be here in this panel with chaired by Honorable Bagde sir and attended by panel experts like Behra sir and others. So what sir said was about the creation of a digitalized platform for public transport system and how to cleverly utilize this data with the help of AI tool and all. While talking about KSRTC, as just now madam said, in last couple of months, it was a surge in the performance parameters of any transport operator, like whether it is earnings per kilometer or whether it is in the terms of the number of ridership or punctuality, all these things, we have seen a very positive data. So this one in last couple of months, especially for last 1.5 years, Kerala State Road Transport Corporation, in their record, in previous history, the record number of these online activities and digital platform were incorporated into the system, especially to the operating system. In this, the most important thing is the smart digital ticketing system in collaboration with Chalo. So now the thing is that, as she rightly pointed out, in last 2 months, the total download, it become 4 lakhs. The ridership, it got enhanced from 19.21 to 19.91 lakhs. Of course, there are other fiscal and non-fiscal measures are there, but this is the key or vital parameter which promoted the people to come to this digital way. So in continuation of the implementation of this digital platform and the integrated command control center at the headquarters, the introduction of KSRTC travel card, and then another derived requirement of KSRT students concession card, then again for social welfare measures for cancer patients, happy long life cards, then all pass system, everything we converted to digital platform. It became very much useful to the public, and now with a single 100 rupees card, by just topping up with the help of a conductor or from nearby shop, people can use it. Now cards are not available. Within these 3-4 months, already we sold almost 2.5 lakhs card. So as per our understanding, there is a requirement of another 15 lakh card immediately in the market. This is one aspect. In addition to that, the app, where is my bus app, like that, where is my train, like that, where is my bus? These type of things, where is the exact position of this bus, the late departure, date arrival, all these details are in their fingertip. The passenger information system we implemented in several depots. We have a total of 93 depots. One by one, we are implementing passenger information system also. These all digital measures were added to the system, and now people in the entire that ridership, it got enhanced from, as I said earlier, from 19.1 to 19.97 lakhs on an average. But 1 month before, we got a record collection of 10.21 crore per day collection through ticket revenue. That was a record collection with 24.9 lakhs ridership on that particular day. But it's getting on every day. We are seeing a positive trend on this thing. So this is the one major digital initiative we introduced into KSRTC. In addition to that, online passenger reservation system. Then other thing like this driving school. Driving school is another aspect which we introduced. There also we introduced the online measure. People can apply through a particular app, a web portal, and a particular app is there for this driving school system. And through that also we connected with the people. Similarly, e-estate system, then through that advertisement system, all these things were added into our main platform. So these all, it shows that the main point, that is how the technology and digitalization will augment the main ticket collection and the fare and non-fare collection, and it will ultimately help to sustain the system for a long way. This is what initially I want to tell about this introductory things which we did in KSRTC. And further, again, we are continuing with adding a lot of digital measures, like in the second part of the question which thrown, that is how to use this data which is being given to our digital platform cleverly. So for that also we have numerous plans in pipeline. Then down the line in another 2-3 months, we expected to complete this process. Whenever next UMI conference happen, I'm sure that our percentage of online booking. Now, that point also I need to emphasize. Within 3 months, our online ticketing, it become 14.9 percentage. So in another 6 to 8 months time, I'm sure that it will cross 50 percentage, sir.
We need to. Do you have buses on contract?
We don't have bus on contract, sir.
Okay. Thank you. I think you can next.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Continuation of Kerala. Bera sir is here and he's known for like flag bearer of integration of all multimodal transport in Kerala and especially Kochi Metro. Sir, would like to hear from you what are some of the most important lessons which we all can learn with Kochi experience in integrating buses with metros and water transport.
So before I say something, I must tell one particular thing is that little distraction from the question what Priya has asked. She wanted to become an enforcer. She wanted to join the Indian Police Service and become an integrator. And she sent me the pictures of her cadet ship and that she used to love uniform. But good that actually India gained by you becoming an integrator. That is what I can say. This is on the lighter side. See, I know that. So that is what I wanted to say. A few months back, I was in Barcelona. So Barcelona, we went to actually see the metro system and others. Spanish systems are quite good, I mean. But trust me, when we actually met the chief of the transport company which runs this thing, which are under their municipality, because the municipality controls everything. And they first took us to a bus depot. And there they showed us both hybrid electric buses and electric buses. And so beautiful looking. And they told that the buses in Barcelona are the pride of the city. But I doubt whether in India any city can say the buses are the pride of the city. I say very few. Very few. I must actually say Mr. Wagde is here. He managed the best in the best possible way.
But I think, okay, you go ahead.
Yeah. So what happens is that recently the Honorable Chief Minister of Maharashtra opened the electric buses. That day I was in Bombay. He gave a very, very beautiful statement. He said that you also depend on the non-fare box revenue rather than actually increasing the fare and getting the money of which you invested for the buses. Okay. Coming to Cochin, one thing is that what we have no idea about the buses as far as the metro company is concerned. But by using the non-motorized transport funds on the approval of the government and MOHUA, of course, then we procured some 15 electric buses. And these 15 electric buses are being used for feeder service from going from one metro station to the water metro station and some important places. And these buses are good, very good, and they have technology. And what happened when we realized that digitization holds the key to attract people, what Pramod told recently, why they went for digitization is that to attract more people to use the buses. They were actually, that was the ethics, because I had a talk with the Honorable Transport Minister. He said that people, if not travel, they buy cars and they congest the roads. So that is why they went for digitization and they are becoming a success story. So what we are going to do with the digitization when we have a lot of issues relating to the road conditions, the congestions, the buses are big, so it can't go in actually places where there are narrow streets, etc. How do we do it? So what happens is that digitization can actually help you in certain things, as Mr. Bagde said, that in contract management or in operations, etc., which will be very easy for the people to accept. For example, Gone are those days when the people will be going and buying a ticket or somebody will just not buy ticket and kind of things. So that is not possible these days. These are all digitized, so cashless. You can actually use a QR code or buy a POS machine or something. There are all options we have given. In Cochin, what we have done is that you can travel both in metro, water metro, buses, or the auto rickshaws, which are actually under the command and control of the KMRL, the metro company, just by an integrated card. So like a travel card they have introduced in KSRTC, we have a card that is actually Kochi One card that you use and you can travel in anything. And more than that, what we said that these systems belong to whom? To the people. And the people's desire is that to use more digitization. So what we did is that probably we are the first city in the metro. We used all the platforms what can be actually used for ticketing. Whether it is Insta, whether it is anything you say, ONDC, you can have all WhatsApp, everything, whatever if the people wanted, it is there, so that there is no queue anywhere to buy the tickets. So they download and they go. That kind of things, that is a kind of integration which can be done. Actually, I give a very small experience of mine. In Hamburg, I actually entered into a bus. There was actually the Hamburg Metro had given us a card which is valid for all public transport systems, including boats, etc. And that was there in my pocket. And I traveled twice in the bus. There is no tapping, no actually inserting the card anywhere, no check. So after the end of the trip, I asked the person, how do you actually manage? People do not actually use this particular thing, so they may not be having the card or something. He said, we trust the people. Probably has to come one day or other. Some biometric or something Priya can think, so that will be easy, based on trust and easy to do it. And what digitization can do, last thing I wanted to say, with the help of the GIZ, they are here, the team is here, we actually made an analytic platform. That data analytic platform, which is going to be launched on 15th of November, after a few days, it is actually a very interesting thing. And it is using an AI algorithm. And what it does is that in the POS machine, which is there in the bus, you can actually, one is that you can determine the genders. So how many women and how many men are traveling, so that it can be known from that. It can give the telematics of the bus actually things. And it also tells that which is actually the preferred route, how many people are traveling at a particular time. All that things in a dashboard, it can be seen. But we lack one thing for which we are working with KSRTC and the government of Kerala to exactly know the public. We know, as a company we know, but we wanted to know that the people, like Priya is traveling, she wants to know when is my bus coming, when is they actually, where is the location I can see in the phone. That will be also done for our feeder services and autos, etc. very shortly. This is what we are actually trying to do to bring digitization benefits of buses to the people. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Rightly said that when you said that when it comes to digital innovations and experimentation, private partners are coming in picture to collaborate and make it a success jointly. I would go to Sanjay Biswal, sir. He is here. He is MD for CRUIT. Sir, you and your institute is known for excellence in public-private partnership when it comes to bus digitalization. and how innovation can work together. And there are so many partners are working. We are one of them. It's been like 6 years, and it's just a very successful combination. Would like to know from you that what is the secret sauce to be working with private partners and making them work tirelessly. And I'm part of the WhatsApp group. When something happens, like within like 2 minutes message come that this is not working, where are you? And if somebody goes on leave, sir knows that this person has not come to office. So if my staff is not reached there, sir's message come in 10 minutes that this person I can't see. So sir, would like to hear from you, because success of smart city and smart bus combination is a success for public-private partnership, and would like to hear from you. Thank you.
Thank you, Priya. And good morning to all of you, and it's a privilege to be here in this UMI function, and especially to be here in this session under the chairmanship of Bagde sir, because he's thank you, sir. First, I will start with the history of the CRUT, history of formation of CRUT. CRUT is Capital Region Urban Transport, and it's operating in Bhubaneswar, Odisha. And it was formed by merger of all the independent transport bodies functioning under different ULBs. And it was merged, and Capital Region Urban Transport was formed. Government of Odisha decided to make it an independent body. It was formed under Section 8. And then subsequently, converting the NCC model to GCC model. And the first tender was float, and private operators were selected for maintenance, operation of the buses, and then the revenue collecting agencies were also a part of it for the revenue collection part, taking the conductors. And sorry to say that we don't call them conductors and drivers, we call them captains and guides. So this is how they are referred in CRUT. And then subsequently, as Priya told, Chalo was introduced as system integrator to look after this AFCS, AVLS, and the IT part of the CRUT system. And subsequently, again, we moved on to ONDC as our one of the platform as ticketing. And then subsequently, this Pay Local was there for WhatsApp ticketing. And then we are now moving ahead into last mile, first mile connectivity with Moving Tech being our partner, as Odisha Yatri app is being launched, and also we are in the first mile, last mile connectivity. So with all these private partners coming to CRUT, we just follow the QCBS method, getting the quality, not compromising on the quality, and being more compatible with them, so that they can be our friends, they can be our companions. So we never thought that they are the private partners or they're vendors. We don't treat them as vendors. So they are our partners. So with this, we get the best out of the service from the private partners. And now, as Pramodji was saying, that this digitization of the ticketing, we started with 9% of digitized ticketing. People were fearing, and everybody was, every conductor, even the guides and the commuters who were using the buses, they wanted this cash flow of transaction. From 9% to this October 31st, I was reviewing, now we have gone to 41% in digitized ticketing. So this is only possible due to our partners, that is ONDC, Pay Local, WhatsApp ticketing, and our own app. And then also we have also got the ATVMs, automatic ticket vending machines. We have kept in different major high footfall areas. We've kept these ATVMs, and these are also being used by the commuters to get the tickets prior to boarding of the buses. So it makes the life of our guides very easy. And also we have launched NCMC very shortly. This 15 days back, our Honorable CM launched this NCMC, National Common Mobility Card. One nation, one card policy. That is also now with CRUT. So we are coming up with a lot of policies, and Bagde sir is kind enough to give us 400 buses. In PME Bus Seva also getting 400 buses from MOHUA, Government of India. So now my fleet of buses, we started with merely 100 buses in 2019. Now we are going to go to 1,270 buses in a span of 5 years. So we are growing very fast, and towards a sustainable urban transportation in Odisha. And again, for consecutive 7th year, I think we have been, again, I received a letter for getting this award in this UMI to the CRUT. So this is how we function, and we treat our private partners not as vendors, but our partners. So this is the secret of success of CRUT.
Thank you, sir.
I just have one question. Are you using, again, no, I'm okay. Are you using your system for contract management and payment to the contractor?
Pardon, sir?
Payment to GCC contractor.
Yes, yes. I was just want to tell you and inform this house that now we are paying the contractors on per kilometer charge.
That I know, but their payment, how the system is calculating, the
Yes,
entire chain of payment calculation, has it been digitized or it still goes through the manual process and the
is-
checking and all that?
Sir, it is manual process. It is all our buses are fitted with VLTD, and that kilometer we are getting from the buses, and our depot managers, they are very much there to
Yeah,
cross
so
the
I think,
meters.
Mr. Biswal, that is the point. We have digitized many aspects, but this aspect, there is a lot of resistance and from many quarters. Will you be able to put, say, contract management, digitalization of content management by UMI 19? Isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, sir. We are already in the process.
Yeah.
We are in the process of preparation of DPR. We are going to integrate this bill management system.
Yeah, yeah,
coming
yeah,
up.
yeah.
And we are planning to integrate this AFCS, AVLS, and this ITMS
Yes.
into one platform.
Yeah.
And we are on the process of process of preparing RFP. And this also one of our system partner is helping us in preparing the RFP. And very shortly we'll come up with this tender. And we'll ensure that from the operator to the bank, the entire system should be digitized.
That
And
will be very good. I think that's very good. We see it to be launched before UMI 19. Thank you.
Sir, this will be definitely done in next 3 months, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
sir. Congratulations for the 7th year of award. Okay, sir, Prasanna sir is here, Boki's president, and again the first man for bus transport in India for private bus operators. Sir, would like to know your view as a private partner. I spoke and I asked from government officers. I would like to know from you, because we are private partners, and how do you see the association complementing government system to digitalize all the buses, first thing. Second is the entire ecosystem. What policy changes needs for us, partners like you and other partners, private partners, what we expect from government, and how do you see India brings 10x more buses? And as you said yesterday in one of the panel, that even if bus industry or bus budget gets 10% of what metro is getting, we will be home. So how are you feeling, sir, about it? And what do we do? Because if you don't solve buses, India is not solving, please trust me. And if you need, we are running short of time, so I will not explain, and I will not tell you that how buses are important than any other mode of transportation. But sir, speak your pain and pleasure both.
So, thank you, Priya. Thank you for calling me here. So, I have been the one thing which you said last. One thing I am trying to convince, even I have written to MOA also, MOUD also, I spoke to you also, sir. What is important is ultimately finance makes the difference. And we are talking about integration, multimodal, etc., etc. But unless that finance is integrated, things would not change. So, there were many discussions about whether metro or bus, why metro, why not bus, etc., etc. I said rather than that, we should talk about only public transport. And since treat metro as a big brother because it has big budgets, so out of that budget, only give us 10% budget and we would be happy. Similarly, in roads also, I spoke to ministers also, out of that entire road budget, give 20% of road budget for infrastructure of public transport, like building excellent bus stations or rest areas, bus stops, pickup points. So multiple things can be done into road budget. And balance whatever is required, like rolling stock or operational expenditure, etc., that can be managed with metro, and then it will become really integrated. So I said, ki if you give 10% budget of metro to buses, and then on a condition that metro pass holders will get free journey in buses. Ridership of metro will also go up, and I can assure you that 10 times more people will get opportunity to travel in that same budget. So that is one. Having said that, coming back to digitization, I think this is an era of explosion of digitization, because of which business models are changing, people's expectations are changing, and laws are changing. So everything is changing because people are expecting everything faster, and that is possible only with digitization. When we talk about digitization, most of the time in our conferences, we talk about selling part of digitization, which is customer-focused, customer-centric. But there are four possible way digitization can be utilized. First, it starts from when we say smart bus. So it is a smart bus, means fleet management. It starts from fleet management, the way you manage your fleet. And it is absolutely very, very useful in managing your fleet if you use technology and collect that data. Second, in operations, and when I say operation, it is not only scheduling or giving people information on time, etc., but it is for training your people also, because it gives you a lot of insights into driver's behavior, vehicle pattern, traffic pattern, multiple things you can get through digitization. So operation can streamline and it become most efficient if everything is digitized. Then third thing will come, customer focused everything, whatever Chalo is doing, excellent software. And it brings in lot of transparency and confidence in the people that yes, my bus is coming, at what time it is coming, whether it is coming or not coming. And in different models, what we are trying to again do is we are trying to force people into one particular type of service, which is a public transport bus. Aapko mili to mili, nahi mili to nahi mili. So what you have done, Chalo has done in Mumbai. So when I have assurance of sitting, so there are certain people, those who travel by their own buses because they don't have assurance of seating. Because cities have become so big, people travel for 1 hour from one end to other end, or 2 hours in certain cities. So we cannot expect them to stand and go throughout the journey. But that type of service also is possible because of digitization only, because there is complete transparency on how many seats are booked, whether at what time my bus is coming. And fourth thing, which is very important, is analyzing all this. And this analysis gives you huge amount of insights into what needs to be done to make your systems profitable, or less loss-making, I would say, in certain cases. So digitization has very important role to play. Private operators are adopting digitization quite faster, I would say, in intercity. In city, probably it is not so, but you are trying your level best to penetrate in multiple areas. But it is so integrated. I am after our people that you should also start branded services. You can brand your service by your association's name. So all buses should look alike. People, you can establish a control room. If something is lost in the bus, people should find it. So all that is possible if at all everybody comes on one platform and they establish control tower. They use software like yours, which Chalo is using in different locations. And they can create better confidence in their travelers, so they leave their cars or two-wheelers and jump on public transport. today it has become important that all of us sitting here or those who are in public transport, it is our responsibility to bring people back onto public transport. Share of public transport is going down day by day. Particularly after COVID, it has gone down substantially. And one of the reasons is we are unable to provide them better services. Let us be honest with us. So they are expecting door-to-door services. We are giving them services in silos. Sometime only metro is option, sometime bus is option, sometime BRT is option, sometime walking is option, but there are no footpaths. So starting from footpath till metro, if everything gets integrated, sir, on this forum, I would like to request metro people to adopt at least 1 kilometer around metro station, a footpath, so that people can walk up to metro station and they can take metro. And at least one bus bay for each metro station. People aspire for metro for that attractiveness, convenience, and reliability. If we can bring that reliability the same way into buses also, and sir, that is possible, I sincerely believe, that is possible only if metro and buses work together. Metro or railways in general, they have certain procedures, norms, fixed the way of working, which is not there in bus as yet. So if that happens, I'm sure lot of people will start traveling by buses. So first walk, then take bus or metro. And then integrated solutions can be found. And Chalo can do a better job in this by integrating this, because digital is the only way to integrate them fast. Thank you.
Can you hear me? Yeah. Point noted. And we will come back to you, and sir, we will meet you more this year before UMI. Okay, I'll go to Vivek sir here from ENY. Sir, you have worked across the globe more than 25 years and would like to know from you that how integrated mobility and how integrated digitization will work for India from learning from outside India.
Thank you. Thank you so much. First of all, thanks for inviting me here. Looks like, is it working? Yeah, thank you. So thanks for inviting me here. I think, we've already heard about the different aspects of digitization from the operator's perspective, from the government perspective, etc. Maybe I'll take a little bit of, maybe a step back, because since it's about the best practices, how they've been able to achieve and we've not in some ways, right? I think the first thing, when we really look at integrated mobility, it is important to know very clearly what are our shared goals in the city. See, it is about city. It is not about a bus system or an IPT or, for that matter, metro or anything. It's how the city is going to solve for mobility challenges. Therefore, clarity on what is our shared goal in the city. Therefore, put together the mobility system, how is it going to solve? So I think data-driven decision-making plays a very, very pivotal role in bringing commuters, operators, and the policymakers in a seamless decision interface. That's I think, number one. Number two, data and exchange standards. See, Patwadanji said there is explosion of data. But is this contained explosion? That's a very important question. Where is this data going? There are so many people who are generating data, so many systems that are generating data. But what are we doing with that data? Is it even meaningful? So therefore, there has to be some kind of framework to this data. How do you use this data? How do you put it into a framework that it can be reused and utilized for mobility decision-making purpose? Third, I think clear key performance indexes which can be measured against the goals that you set for your city. Now, more often we fail because we don't have shared goals. We have individual systems having their goals and they are being pursued individually. I think shared goals for a city is very important. Together what do we achieve? And therefore, what is the role of each operator? Private services are equivalently important in this whole discourse. When we look at IPT plays a very important role in terms of first mile, last mile connectivity, door-to-door connectivity, so on and so forth. How are we bringing them in that this discourse, and therefore doing a holistic view of how the services can be delivered? Fourth to me is internal capacity of an organization to deliver. When we say data, what is data doing in order to make internal organization enough capable to take decisions? So it's about people and processes. Do we have right people doing the right job? And are they rightly enabled to deliver that particular activity? So it's very important, because you could have fantastic technology systems, but if you don't have people who can consume the outcome of these systems, it means nothing to an organization. So therefore, how do we see the organizational view and amplify that as a capability within the organization to deliver for efficiency, economy, and holistic view of solving for the city challenges? So there are three things that I think from digitalization perspective need to be managed. One is, what is the volume of data that I need for me to be able to make meaningful decisions? What is the veracity of that data? Is it really meaningful to me? So I'll go back to standards after I finish in this. And third is the velocity. When we are really talking about ETS, it's all about velocity, right? Data coming back, you making algorithms, making whatever they need to make out of that data and giving it back to the systems. Similarly, data would come from multiple systems which are outside of your organization. For example, when we really look at people's need to travel, it may not come from internal systems, it will come from external systems. Now you've got GPS probe data, which is a harvest that you will do to understand what are the OD patterns, and therefore you will look at a bus system or a public transport system in whatever shape and forms we have. They will start looking at where is the service requirement, where is the demand generation happening, therefore what could be the supply systems that could be aligned. So I think my sense is, if any system has been successful globally, they have institutionalized these four things within the organization through digital pathways to deliver consistently. I think another thing is I think to me is very important. When you do something very consistently, you will make an impact. A water drop dropping on a stone versus a waterfall, two different things. You will make a dent eventually and you'll make it right, but when you force something, it doesn't make any impact. So I think consistency of delivering how an outcome has to be managed. So therefore, the goal is very important. Are we really knowing the goal? That might be the biggest question we might answer.
Vivek, I have a question. I think this data exchange standards, we have been talking for quite some time. And so can you tell us what actually is anywhere in our country where cities have taken initiative to standardize, make data available publicly, like what is being done in TFL, where you can download data and you can do multiple apps. Actually, they don't have apps, people do there. So can you give some example in country or any city trying to do something?
I think one of the recent one I can talk about is Dubai. Dubai. So it has certainly set out a pace on how data-driven AI in transport can be actionized. For sure, they have a very robust data framework now. London, Singapore, I mean, those are common examples that we hear of. But I think in India, I believe data is available in silos. And there is no concerted effort to really get that to a common framework, because it's being driven by organizations in their own ways. Now, you've got ONDC coming in, which is also solving the parts of the problem. But I think, when we really look at the front-faced transformation, which is where you do, search, book, pay, and feedback, that much you could solve from that perspective. But when you really look at transport system, it is much more complex when you really get into the operations. So where is that standardization? Now today,
examples outside, but you are saying not a single city is trying to bring
I
all.
think yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
I'll come to Venkatesh sir, you, and then Vinayak, you, both for one question, sir. As you say that it's not the tech shift, it's a mindset shift. And I would like to continue the question from what Vivek sir has said, that how can data-driven design and sustainable infrastructure planning help Indian cities future-proof their bus system against congestion, emission, and population growth?
Thank you. It's really a pride to be amongst all the people who are actually doing the real thing that needs to happen and making our bus a real-time pride. So there are three things that I'm actually getting the sense of, that we all, like Vivekji talked about a shared goal. We all want to make bus a pride of our citizens. And not just the citizens, but also the stakeholders, other stakeholders. Even the staff, they should take pride in what they are doing. Same way the contractors who are actually trying to operate, they need to take pride in what they are doing. I think it's important that we need to bring that part. Second, I'm actually understanding that we need to make the operations profitable, right? While there is one side of the story that actually says like we never can have a public transport system or a bus transport system profitable, but definitely there are ways and means and innovative means that we can always look at, and tech can definitely help, but more importantly, the way that we look at it, that needs to be done. The third important thing that I'm learning from the conversations is that there's a lot of digitization happening, and I really like the idea that Vivekji actually, analogy that he just put. I think it's a explosion versus a controlled, this one is very important. So I have three things to offer in terms of what we have seen, what is being done elsewhere, and also what we are trying to do in Bangalore, where we are working today. One is important is that we need demand responsive systems. I think what I mean by demand responsive is not a Western concept. What we want is an Indian demand responsive. Like for example, you rightly pointed out how many people could even think of, or do people have the service to come to this venue by bus, right? Why can't the city bus transport system create a private or some sort of an ecosystem in terms of they align with the organizers of these special events to create a bus transport facility, pick up and drop of facilities from the points? And why can't it be a mobile app? Digitization can help in aligning all the people who come to this place. They will be picked up from a point and then they can drop it at a point. It's important that this kind of demand responsive things that need to be looked at. Second important demand responsive thing is actually about, especially when you talk about, important is that when there are large kind of other breakdowns that are actually happening, or let's say there are, for example, there is a delay in a service that is actually happening. Is there a way that I can actually have a floating fleet which is actually on a contract basis, or somewhere, whatever the way that we can we actually offer the respite to the commuter as to say, okay, this particular route there is an incident, and because of which that particular route is actually cannot be operated further, rather than they waiting there for this service, can we just quickly dispatch a particular service to them? Like for example, I was in Switzerland last year, and then when I saw the demand was actually going up at a metro station, and then suddenly the operator, traffic controller there has quickly called a depot, and then he said like, I need 3 buses. There's a demand which is actually piling up here, and I need that part. So I think then immediately there was 5 minutes we were told to wait, and we got buses, right? This is demand responsiveness, where we are making the commuter in the center of the whole scheme of things, right? So I think this is one aspect. Second aspect is like we need breakdown resilience that we need to build in the system. What I mean by breakdown resilience is that bus breakdowns are common, and as per our lesson in Bangalore, we have actually seen 40% of the congestion is causing because of bus breakdowns, right? And we have been able to share this data, and there is a lot of resilience that we are building now were talking to BMTC. But important point is they don't have a mechanism to actually, they don't have an SOP, they don't have a quick response teams, they don't have the entire organization set for this kind of resilience activities. It is important, like the moment the bus breakdown has actually happened, one side is congestion that is actually happening. The second side is, imagine the plight of the commuter who is actually traveling on that part. He's left in between on the road, right? Is there a way that we can actually have this demand responsive system in place and these kind of incidents, say like, no, wherever you are going, you will actually, the data will actually tell me where they are supposed to be going, right? Can I organize a quick response fleet, right? So this is very important for us to actually to bring these kind of things where you keep the commuter in the center of all our planning. That is when the pride happens, when he knows that I am not left out. There is a system that is going to take care of me, right? So that is when then people will actually come back to you. The third important point is, like the example I would like to quote is in Bangalore, we have recently done a mobility digital twin. And sir, for your question, Bangalore is where we have done a POC with all the key stakeholders. The real-time data is coming onto the platform now. We are able to showcase a lot of these public transport related use cases also. Like for example, where are the areas, BMTCs now we are actually able to share them, where are the areas which are not being catered to by the buses, right? And where the congestion is happening and where there is demand that is available, but you are not able to put your buses there, right? Then they need to know how they need to reroute and look at extending the services or assigning a new route that is actually possible. Like special events that are actually happening, we are able to tell them there is a demand surge that's going to happen. The metro is going to know when the demand surge is actually going to happen. Or when there is a event that is public work is happening, there is a road closure that is actually planned. The bus operator need to know that there is a road closure there. So his routes need to be redeployed. That impact of that need to be assessed on this. Digital twin is actually telling us the impact of a road closure to all the key stakeholders. It is able to tell what all the things that are going to be impacted in the city. So that is where the tech is actually going to come in place. Okay. So I think probably there are so many other things that we can talk about, but I will stop here in the interest of time.
Thank you so much. Now I come to Vinayak, our CTO. Vinayak, you have pressing timelines because 20 minutes we have to give to question answer. I am not going to be doing second round, too much of monologues from the stage. Expectations are high, and I'm not going to ask the questions which I have designed for you. Like you heard Prasanna sir, you heard Bagre sir, you heard everyone, right? There's so much gap, and I don't personally, as a private partner and bus enthusiast, I would not like to see bus as a last mile connection and first mile connection. Bus is the main mile connection. Then you put everything around bus, which is what I feel, because bus is the soul of the city. But would like to know from what is your opinion and what is Chalo's stand on open data? Because if we all keep working on silos, India is not going to get solved. What is your view on operational dashboards and helping operators and government bodies equivalent to consumer-friendly your app, which you guys and we all have been building, and what AI tools you are using? You have put conductor console and tap and tap of buses in Bombay. So what are all innovations you think that smart bus will bring in 2030?
Too many questions, Priya. Okay. No, I think, good morning, everyone, and thanks for having me here. I would like to start by recognizing or articulating some of the problems that, so many of us have highlighted here. So, if you look at challenges, I think all of us would agree that be it private buses or government buses, the customer experience is subpar today, right? After speaking with hundreds and thousands of people on the ground, people tell us that buses are not reliable and they are not very convenient, right? So that's one challenge. Similarly, operators globally, tell us that there is extremely high level of pilferage. 15 to 25% is the number that people quote, which is an extremely high number, when you think of how large the bus industry is. Similarly, Bagre sir, you mentioned very high operating cost, right, which plague the bus industry. Similarly, we have recognized that there is a data explosion. All of us spoke about that. But the process of data to insight is, in my view, missing, right? That process is either missing or extremely long, right? And buses are a dynamic business where data to insight should be addressed. So if we agree with some of these challenges, then I'll share my views on what are the things which have worked and what are some of the new opportunities which we believe technology or AI can help us address. So I think if you look at customer experience, just by telling people when the bus will come accurately, or by offering convenient ways of payments in the bus, this itself has a large impact on the customer satisfaction. And we have seen enough case studies. For example, Pramod sir said, by transforming or offering digitization to customers, we are seeing great adoption and increase in revenue. I attended a session yesterday where, the commissioner from Nagpur, and she said that they have seen a 25-30% increase in their revenue, right? Just by, curbing some of the pilferage by reducing cash in the bus, right? Nagpur is around 35% digital penetration. Kroot is at 40%, right? We have seen direct correlation of revenue increase and pilferage reduction when you introduce some of these digitization, right? So these are success stories from India, which we have seen. But I think there is a need to standardize this and replicate it. Because if this innovation is not deployed at scale, I think we are missing a trick. So Bagre sir, maybe I think the industry will need some help on how do we standardize and replicate this across the 3 lakh odd buses in India, and not just have this limited to few thousand buses. So this is something which has worked, and I think there is a need to replicate this pan-India. Now, few opportunities which I believe are untapped and can be further taken up. We spoke of high operating cost in the bus, right? And pilferage. Every bus operator, and we have Prasanna sir here as well, every bus operator has deployed auditors, ticket inspectors on ground, right? And this process has been there for 5-6 decades. And this is not just in India, but globally, right? But the way audit is done is extremely archaic, right? We have people who take a pen and paper, they board the bus, they count how many people are there in the bus, then they go to the conductor, check the receipt, kitne ticket kate, right? And then they report back. I think in 2025, if this is how we will, check tickets in the bus, I think that's a very, very suboptimal outcome. Today, with the help of AI and SLMs, you can deploy cameras on the bus and count exactly how many people enter the bus. You have ticketing devices in the bus, and you can automate this entire process and not have an audit, but have 100% real-time monitoring, right, 24/7. This has a high impact on both pilferage and reduction of operating cost. I will also touch upon something which Biswal sir said. I think if you look at all the new buses which STUs are adding, they're all on GCC model, right? I had a privilege of reading the contract, right? It had some 60 parameters. 60 parameters which the operator should perform to deliver quality of service to the customer and get paid by the STU. Too many parameters, right? But how do you calculate this? How do you measure this? I mean, you have signed a contract, but there is no provision or there is no capability for an STU GCC contract. Electric bus. So, sir, my point is not that. My point is there could be 50-60 parameters which are essential to have quality of service, but we don't have the capacity and means to measure them, right? So whatever billions of dollars we end up paying to bus operators, I mean, on what basis? There has to be better transparency and better governance, because ultimately this is to deliver the quality of service to the end customer. Absolutely. So I was resonating with that, right? So that's something which is a low-hanging fruit, in my opinion. That is something we have the capability to address, as an industry. Now, just moving on, 1 or 2 more points, right, before the time runs out. If you look at, data, we spoke of the data explosion, right? I'll just give you a practical example. I was visiting an STU. They had some 300 people, right, looking at reports. operations, finance, different people in depots, right? The way for them to decipher an insight is to say, okay, I need these 10 reports to be built. The report takes 15 days to build, and then something changes, then you go back and change the report, right? If a decision maker, and all of you are decision makers, right, of your organizations, if you have to take a decision, it will not take less than 3 to 4 weeks for you to have a reasonable insight from the data explosion that you have. If we just layer all this data, yes. If you layer all this data by agentic AI, which is now deployed everywhere, right, customer support and everywhere, you can have a natural interface for all the users of public transport to query this data in their own language. For example, a depot manager needs to know how the crew performance is, right? That's a one question away. So the process of data to insight can be massively short-circuited by using simple AI tools, right? And lastly, if you think of integration across modes of transport and having multimodal, I think the other big opportunity there would be how do we personalize the customer experience, right? That's another opportunity. If everything is integrated, I think customer choice would be even more difficult, right? So there is a massive personalization which can be built in. But that's it. That's all. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Vinayak. You heard all of us. It's our turn to hear from you. Please ask your questions, or if you have anything to add, the forum is open to hear from you. Can somebody pass on the mics in the audience? Yes. Yeah.
Hello. Yeah, I'm Bipin here.
Yeah, just closer.
Yeah.
Mic.
So I would like to ask Vinayak ji that we have been hearing about the passenger counting systems. So in that, like, why it has not been implemented in India right now, and what are the pros and cons that you think that would be there along with it, or is it very expensive, or any other thing that is stopping us from getting into these systems?
Sure.
Counting system.
Why it has not been implemented in India
We can take
so
one
far?
or two more questions, and then I think.
Sure.
What's your question, please? Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, first of all, for all the esteemed panelists for their comments. My question is with respect to the city-specific needs. I'm just trying to think upon that. So, for example, we can consider something like Madurai, which is a temple town, or Bangalore, which is an IT hub, or, for example, Goa State, which is a tourist-driven thing. So, what can we think about city-specific needs? And Vinayak pointed out about the real-time monitoring and how can that assist. So, if we try to understand how does the city perform throughout the day, how can real-time monitoring help in that respect? And with respect to the variety of cities that we have in India. Thank you.
The question.
So, okay, I'll try to he's
Question and then.
here.
Abhishek, what question you have? You can ask. Okay.
Yeah, sir. Under your visionary leadership, we have already laid down the foundation of PME Bus Seva scheme. So specifically regarding this ITMS, because this is a session on digitization, so far we have seen that hundreds of crores have been spent on different ITMS RFP across multiple cities. And so I just want to hear from panelists, based on their experience, why this ITMS system hasn't been involved as a software product, which should be incrementally and iteratively developed, and why is every time, after every few years, we go for another RFP and city developer project. I know for PME Bus Seva, you already laid down the foundation of a centralized ITMS platform. So I'm really looking forward to having that as a software product which could last forever. It should not have a shelf life. Actually, it should go on forever. So just want to hear from panelists, what are your learnings? And why don't we see this as a software product? Why is every time new company coming and building a product? And yeah, that's the question.
Should I take? I'll maybe take one or two. So I think the question was, why is automatic passenger counter not successfully implemented in India so far? That was the question. I think I have spoken to a lot of people and I have my own experience, but a lot of people believe that it's very costly. That's why India mein nahi aa raha hai. But I think that's a misnomer because the ROI on whatever you invest is so high because there's 15 to 20% revenue leakage. So cost or commercial is not the answer.
But it's what is the technical, like, what is the counting accuracy? Is
So
it substantial?
So just coming to that only. Yes. I think if you look at the Indian bus context, Bombay, for example, 1,000 passengers take the bus every day. 1,000 passengers per bus per every day. Whatever systems that we have seen, off the shelf, which are deployed in malls or some of the European cities, they don't deliver the right accuracy with that kind of dense throughput, right? So you need to build the model, the AI model or the counting model in the Indian context, right? You have to train this model with Indian bus data, Indian bus cities. But if there is a lesser number of density, is it possible? Then it's possible. For example, we did some experiment, I'll share that data. The first 3 months of experimentation, we were able to achieve 98% accuracy in non-peak hours, right? Yes, but the moment you look at the data of peak hour, that accuracy fell to 70%, right? So it's a hard problem, and this has to be solved in the Indian context, using Indian data.
But the point is, we don't have to always go for perfection. In some situations, 70% counting may be good enough indicator. Why we want only 100% accuracy?
So my view is we should
I think that itself can provide a lot of insight.
We should not strive for 100. I think as long as you're above 90-95% in peak hours, I think it's a great commercially viable product. Okay. So the answer is, we cannot just import from Europe and deploy it here. It has to be trained on Indian data.
Okay. Anybody else on Vivek Ogra? You have some points?
Sir, I just want to add to your point of why accuracy all the times. It all depends on the goal, what we want to achieve. Let's say if you are looking at a revenue system to be integrated with that counting, then you need definitely a good accuracy. But if you are only looking at just monitoring and then just at a non-revenue kind of a thing on operational efficiencies, then I think it's okay. So I think it's where we want to use at what level is important. Like what he said, like training always is essential. And then today, non-availability of the data is not a challenge because we have terabytes of data.
So we actually deployed passenger counting system in Water Metro. It's 100% accurate. Water Metro. Water Metro density is not that. Oh, that is, I'm saying.
The point is, you can start using it and then let's see, I think Abhishek's question is very relevant. How do we build products for ITMS? Yeah. Every year, every 5 years, there is a new contract. And STUs are fed up of issuing the RFP and all that. Vivek, we can begin with you. I think this is the challenge. And hopefully, in next 6 months or before UMI 29, or at least when Mahua is developing the product, we should be able to get to that level. Many of the private players may not be happy with you, but at least people will be happy at STUs.
No, thank you so much, sir, for that. And I think, first of all, I should certainly say this: under your leadership, we've been able to achieve what MOVA is going to eventually deliver. I think the problem with the ITMS first is, if you really look at the market in India today, there are very few companies who really understand transportation. So that's the problem number one. And therefore, over a period of time, they have been weeding out of some of the firms. There are some firms who have stuck to the fundamentals of transportation, be able to do what they have been able to do. But there hasn't been proliferation. See, an industry flourishes when there is proliferation at each level. You talk about tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 cities. It is not viable for a big company to operate in every city. And you can't operate in every city. So therefore, technology proliferation and capabilities have to be mainstreamed. I think one of the way that MOVA is trying to solve that through EPM Bus Seva ITMS platform is to create an open platform which can be adopted by the cities, and there can be smaller transport tech companies who can then adopt that and grow that system further. It will be grown as an open source platform. Now, what does that really bring in? It brings in capability in the nooks and corners of the country, broad bases the capability, and to your question, how does it sustain? Since it is fundamentally available
as a knowledge base and tech platform, it can be adopted by as many people as you go along. So I think that brings the sustenance part of it. Now, having said that, will this be the only one that will solve? The answer is no. But it will at least create a capability roadmap for a general adoption of technology in transport. So I think there is one more thing that I just wanted to add that maybe it's for people to ponder upon. Today we see a lot of tech in cars. In last 5 years, the dashboard of the car is standard. Every car is coming with a connected car screen. Why? Because the standardization has happened in the tech in the vehicle. Now, why are we not looking at a standardization in the public bus itself as a bus OS? That should be our endeavor, because that will take away all the pain of hardware. Then it's all about data and managing the processes. I think that's where the leapfrogging will happen. That is probably.
I have just one small comment on that. To your point, actually, I think this 5-year process, it also is about the mindset. I think if you look at the traditional RFPs which were built 10 years back, these tenders or these procurements were treated like CapEx or infrastructure projects. Build, operate, design and transfer, right? I think we need to change our mindset. These are, we should think of this as lean SaaS offerings, right? And then you will not worry about 5 years. You can do this for a year, 6 months, right? That's one part. So the mindset has to change.
Both of the procurer also has to change. The bidders also has to.
If the procurement party
yeah,
changes,
that's what I think
the market will get aligned.
Market has to respond to, but I think there is a need for.
And the other thing which we need to do, this is, to recognize or reflect on the lack of technical capacity in STUs, right? There, I think there has to be a central help to possibly standardize some of these things. Otherwise, the evaluation itself could become very challenging. So that's my opinion on this.
Any other question we can have? Yeah, I think we can. Professor Swami is there.
I don't have a question. I want to add a suggestion to whatever is now being discussed. On the bus hardware, we have got two specifications, the IS 16490 and the 16833 specifications. These two are considered two separate specifications, and we don't have a common ITS specification which we can adhere to. And this is giving a lot of difficulty in building standardized products onto bus. This is a suggestion which can be looked into.
Okay, thank you. Yeah,
Sir,
please.
so my question is, since very few cities in our country are providing GTFS-based data, so why can't we mandate the cities which are eligible in PME Bus Seva scheme or in other central scheme to like publicly put that GTFS data and update it monthly?
No, can you please repeat your question? I think it's not clear. Like your voice was.
I'm saying that very few cities in the country are providing GTFS data, the bus data, GTFS data.
Ah, yeah, okay.
So why can't we mandate the cities which are participating in the central schemes?
Yeah, I think, yes, I agree with you. I will comment on that. We'll take just Professor Swami's question and then we'll close. Yeah.
Sir, thank you for putting up such a panel. It's wonderful. There are two broader questions. One is we keep talking about bus and not having money for buses, whereas we're adding cars and cars every day. In Bangalore, we are adding about 400 cars a day. And therefore, a day, I'm talking about 1,45,000 cars were added last year. And therefore, given the technology development what we have, do we think we should move over to taxing cars based on the kilometers? That's, I think, was one question which I thought, something which we should look at rather than talking about specific congestion charging in a city or somewhere. That's number one. Number two, again, we have been associated with public transport agencies, and therefore what technology can give or advantage of technology depends on the user and how well he can use it. Are our agencies have the capacity to do that? If not, then what is it that we need to do?
We can respond to, there are two questions and your suggestion is noted. I think after the session, please share whatever specific things are there. Abhishek, you can collect from him and pass it on to concerned person Maua. I think, the issue of that data, when we're designing this PM e-bus guidelines and all that, we have made it mandatory for the data to be made available to the public on platform, like TFL, they have data. And I think when Vivek was mentioning about data exchange and all that, many STUs, even though they are willing to share, their data are, different. And what happens, one operator comes like for ITMS, other comes for AFCS, and they don't want to talk to each other. So I think this standardization and data exchange, we have been talking a lot. I think I would request Mahua and other people who are really intent on achieving something to come together, evolve standard, share, and maybe then BIS or somewhere who is mandating, even Mahua can mandate standard. But I think this is high time. There is another aspect of it. Now, everybody talks about AI. Whatever you say now, AI can do it. But AI depends on data. We also want our young boys and girls to do innovations. And for them to do innovation, they require data. Please understand, the public transport data and public transport is funded by public. So actually data is owned by public. And we are, because of all these issues of exchange and protocols and all that, the innovations is being deprived. So those who want to innovate, they are not getting data because of this squabble between this operator, that operator. AFC is not giving to ITMS, and odometer is not talking to all, I think. So this is high time if we want AI to be used, which I think can do a lot for reducing the cost. We need to immediately begin on this path of bringing this together. I think the point which I was mentioning about high cost of bus operation needs to be very focusedly discussed. And I think Vinayak mentioned some way, like data analytics. We have a lot of people going through the report. We would like to give, we would like to have many more people in our bus company. But see, the point is we can't, because there is a constraint to reduce the cost. And technology is one instrument which can actually make bus operation more sustainable. So even though my heart is, employing more people, I want more people to come, but I also need to care about people providing bus transport and reducing congestion on the road. So I think we need, and we have people like Mr. Biswal and many other, Pramod there, all this. And there is a very important role for BOKI. Please understand, without BOKI's cooperation, because they are the operators. And operators, they have very different skilling set. And I think we should work with BOKI to skill their operators of how they also use the technology, which will reduce their own cost and therefore the per kilometer cost. It has all implication. So I think this technology for fare monitoring, conductorless ticketing is need of the day. And even though our heart is employing more people, more guides, Mr. Biswal, but we need to go on to that path of our ticketing to be without, conductorless ticketing. Inspection system has to be very modern. Many times when I was there, I used to say that you are spending more time, more money are spending than the gain. These are ultimately, the passengers are all my citizens. If 2 or 3 people are not able to pay because maybe they don't have money, it's okay. To catch 2 people, you are employing so many, high-paying. So I think that points also needs to be worked on. How do we actually implement models, including passenger counting system? Maybe it is not working for high throughput system, but if I go to tier 2 city, it will give me 95% accuracy. Then why not adopt that kind of system? So I think that was one. And Swami's point, I think, what needs to be done is that we keep on talking every UMI, but this standardization and building capacity for the operator and their staff. Actually, we talk generally at tier 1 and tier 2 people in the conference. Those who are the people who are attending conference, CEOs, CTOs and all that. But they don't run the bus operations. The people who are running the bus operation, they need to be also trained, taken into confidence that maybe when they are retiring, that vacancy may not be filled, but these are the constraints. You know, like that kind of confidence building and training at that level will bring more change, and hopefully we'll see, as you said, bus should be the main mile rather than last mile or first mile. That day everybody wants, but we need to put all this together. I think we should thank all
Sir,
the
I just have last one point
speakers.
to add, sir, just one point to add.
Yeah, I think we should.
GTFS data thing that what we are talking about, I think my submission is that standardization of data sets is actually yesterday's idea, sir.
Yeah.
With the more sensors coming in, more people coming in, more data getting generated,
Yeah.
standardization will only constrain you with the things, because the technology is able to solve the problem for us, because the big data.
So what we can do, I am heading National Center for Good Governance.
Yeah.
And good governance is at every place. It required every place. So we can work on transport governance. I can have a group of people, and then we can work with Mahua. I'm part of the government. So I think we would be very keen on working on this transport data governance issue. And okay, thank you very much. I think.
Thank you for so thought-provoking session and 90 minutes. All the points are well taken and noted down. That integrated of services also equalizes to integration of people sitting here, diverse group, because without getting on one platform, sir, all of us continuing from here, sir rightly said at the start of the session that we meet once in a year in UMI. I will make sure that we are going to meet 4, 5 times, 6 times whenever sir has time, and we are going to create a group that I take the responsibility, and sir, you rightly said that it doesn't work state to state. It works national level, and all of us should be aligned to work towards the people and what makes better sense for India. So thank you so much, and full of gratitude for all of you to be here and continue this journey of bus transportation. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir, for for concluding the session. Thank you, ma'am, for conducting the session so smoothly and keeping the discussion lively. Now I would like to request the Honorable Chairman of this session to kindly present the mementos to our esteemed speakers, and followed by the moderator as a token of our appreciation for their valuable contributions.
Photo.
Thank you, sir. Now I humbly request Professor Sivanand Swami to come up on the stage and present a memento to the Honorable Chair of the session as a Swami ji,